everyone has a brain, but not everyone thinks. Everyone has a third eye, but not all see. They don't see, and that's that. They don't see because there weren't any good teachers. And no one told me of this. If they had been talking about this, I probably would have seen earlier. The first time I viewed, it was on a plane. I sat down on the plane, and as usual, before a flight, there were a few fears. And here, in many ways, the situation isn't vested in you. If the plane goes down, there's nothing you can do. You're already in the plane. You can't just disappear from the plane, right? Now you have this fear that is forcing your animal instinct to have the third eye somehow reawaken itself. And the first time I attempted to see what was waiting for me during the next 2 hours of flight, I foresaw the plane taking off and landing in Yekaterinburg. And then suddenly, in my vision, was clearly shown that the plane is not landing in Yekaterinburg. I was tuning in the whole vision and moving it, but it wasn't landing. My fear weakened and I, took my malign thoughts and cast them away. Due to fear, you'll see something like this that will impact my future. And within a short while, the plane landed in Chelyabinsk. I exited the plane and remembered my condition when I tried by my own methods to land the plane in the city of Yekaterinburg, but it didn't land. This is saying that I saw the future, but I didn't understand that I saw it. I didn't map this into my consciousness. And the first time it clicked that by turning on the foresight, I was projecting the future in the future. I noticed this peculiarity. From then on, this became a rule of viewings. That is, sort of, I didn't land the plane. I imagined that I land the plane. If the plane lands, that means there aren't any problems. You're going to live. If nuances have already begun to appear there, your imagination turns on and the plane lifts off, lands, for example, rough. That is, it makes rough contact, not very good. And then, in your foresight, you place it down gently like a bird, and it lands. Later, you connect that with reality, and in 2 hours, it truly lands. It lands gently, not getting knocked. This has already become steady practice, a system. For example, even when the plane ends in turbulence, if you've become centered, if you're already concentrating your attention on your whereabouts and exactly here and now, you'll create a corridor for the plane. You'll make the ground even, and suddenly it jostles and begins flying differently. That is, it's already flying in the corridor. I mean, that the imagination foresight works out at the same moment, a primitive form of viewing. That is a pinpoint that you can fasten to. You have to understand and catch the nuance of said area, where you need to look. That is where the vision is. And these extra sense folks, they see on a greater scale. They come into the area and see the entire turn of events. They can see into the past and how that was. They can leave for the future and see how it will be. That is, in order to develop the third eye, practice is necessary. You need to practice and start with small things. So, for example, we're imagining the vertical scale and position of the ruble, and we're checking, will there be a rise or fall in April? And look, I see that there's going to be a rise. And if we want to practice some other kind of observation, I once was imagining a circular screen of a locating device and took a look at where my wife was, at the dasha, in the apartment, at her girlfriend's. The locator device's crystallographic screen module spins around, and there, where the dot lights up, that's where she'll be. You grab the phone and call her. Where are you? I'm at my girlfriend's. It's all correct. That is, the system works, and there is understanding. Remember that our future is situated on an astral plane. As we speak, it's there where I'm advertising to you to see things with your third eye and try to understand. There, it's very important, and it's not possible to import your physicality. You need to do all viewings out of body. Only then can you formulate the future and see the future. That is, what is already formed in our thoughts, we can see it. Train, and everything will work out fine.